here in the brew house for Launchpad Liftoff this week, and we are drinking IPAs.
Yes, we are.
Because we have quite a few new varieties, and it's led us to talk a little bit about the world of hops. I am drinking our new German IPA, which features some new, fun, I would call them new school German hops.
Yeah, very, very new school German hops. So we have Mandarin Bavaria in there, which has this really nice citrus vibe to it. A little bit of Hallertauer Blanc, which has this really cool white wine character as well. And then a little bit of gooseberry. And then the last one would be whole melon, which has a little bit of melon notes like cantaloupe, honeydew. So just kind of wanted to, a lot of IPAs nowadays are like super fruit forward. So we're trying to showcase that with a lot of hops that people really don't know that the Germans do produce.
Yeah, and I mean, just something that sort of showcases how different the spectrum of flavors you can get are our new collaboration beer, the Cobra Try IPAs that we did with Downhill Brewing and Parker Pourhouse. We hopped it differently than their version. We do have both versions on tap right now,
Yep.
so you can kind of taste them back to back. How are they different?
So I'm actually drinking our version of the Cobra Try right now. I already had a pint of Downhills because I wanted to see how it compared. We just got those kegs in this week. Ours has a little bit of sriracha and has a little more lemongrass and lemon kind of characteristics behind it. And then we dry hopped it and finished like whirlpool hopped it with a little bit of El Dorado and a little bit of that German Hallertauer Blanc, just to kind of get a little bit of a different vibe. I know that Downhill's version had a good amount of Mosaic and some of like the standard IPA stuff. I want to say it was Centennial and a little bit of Chinook in there as well. So it was kind of cool. We had the same malt bill, but just a totally different showcase of what the hops can do here.
Yeah, and it's really fun to do just that, by the way. Come in, try ours, try theirs, do them back to back. We'll even pour you a little sample if you like. And of course, all those beers on tap, in addition to what we usually have on piggyback rides. We've got our hazy IPA, we've got Vandyland, our West Coast IPA. So what specifically are you looking for as a brewer when you start to pick kind of your hop bill, I guess?
I'm always looking for something that's a little bit different, but also something that consumers generally know. So, you know, when Mosaic first came out, no one really knew what Mosaic was or the flavor profile off of it, which is very tropical fruit, which really wasn't a big thing back in the 90s. People really wanted that pine and citrus. Yeah. And some people are kind of going back to that. If you look at some of Comrade's beers, they're very, very traditional style West Coast with a lot of new school hops. So that's kind of how we try to focus on it too, is just trying to find what the flavor profiles that work well together, because not all hops work together, just like all spices in the kitchen don't play well together. And then just see if those flavor profiles do gel and they have this nice harmony together, and we just kind of hope it works half the time. Usually it's kind of a lot of guess.
Yeah, some things are of course cyclical in the brewing world. What was popular once comes back into popularity later.
It's like bell-bottom jeans.
Is it? But it's not necessarily just picking what you want, right? You are contracted for a certain kind, a certain amount of hops sometimes, right? How does that work?
So we usually have hop contracts usually about 5 to 6 years in advance, which is kind of ironic that we just turned 5 years old and going on to 6 years in 2021. But we have contracts all the way up until 2027 right now. And a lot of that's a guessing game. Sometimes you can overextend yourself on contracts. I know a lot of breweries right now, including us, are kind of concerned if we're either over or under contracted, because obviously with COVID going on and a lot of people aren't buying as much beer, but also a lot of breweries are going out of business. There might be a lot of hops left on the market, which is kind of a scary thing for hop growers. But then we also have fires. The wildfires, I heard this year's Citra hop is a little bit smoky because of all the wildfires that were going on up in the Pacific Northwest. So sometimes just because it's still Citra doesn't mean it's going to be the same Citra that we had this year. So it's going to be a unique thing, and hopefully all the hops that we do get access to are great. But we also want to make sure that we're making the right beers for consumers years in advance somehow.
Yeah. So you thought 2020 was interesting. For the brewing industry, 2021 could be even more interesting.
Absolutely.
So that's what they look like, by the way, when you get them in, right?
That's how they look like when they're pelletized. So they usually look like little pine cones that are green, and then they run them through a pelletizer, so it actually makes it a little bit more compact. So better for shipping, better for freshness, and actually we get better hop utilization, which is a big component for making hoppy beers for us.
Kind of interesting that we're talking about hops, and we've got some fun things coming up at Launchpad Brewery featuring 8 beers starting December 16th that don't really feature hops.
No, actually, I don't think, I mean, besides the barley wine, I don't think anything has a lot of hop in it. I mean, there are a lot of big Russian Imperial Stouts, barley wines, Imperial Porters, which we use a lot more hop on them to balance out the sweetness, because all these beers are pretty high gravity, so higher ABV stuff, but we use a lot more hop on them, but we're not showcasing the hop. We're trying to showcase those barrel profiles, using peppermint, using cocoa nibs, coffee. We use a ton of dry fruit in our fruit cake astronaut Christmas beer that we did. That was in a barley wine aging in barrel. So a lot of vanilla use, which is definitely not a cheap ingredient compared to hops, but hops are definitely up there now.
Yeah, so if you've tried 8 Crazy Nights beers in the past, you might have some favorites coming back. We do have some you're familiar with. We've also got some new ones coming out. Another really cool thing going on at Launchpad Brewery right now through December 20th is the toy drive. Nobody's allowed in the tap room, but for some reason somebody set up a Christmas tree. So if you bring in an unwrapped toy we can put under it, we'll give you a free beer. Those toys will go towards the Fox 31 toy drive. If you like the videos, be sure to smash the subscribe button. Be sure to
Smash the subscribe button?
Yeah. Comments discouraged, however.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's been a long day. Long COVID year, day. It feels like it's just been like 20 years of my life.
Yeah. We have obviously had some great December days here in Colorado. We've had a lot of y'all come out, enjoy the patio. We do set up tables out there. We are still doing outdoor dining. We've got food trucks every day of the week. We're open until 8 o'clock. Come enjoy, please, and thank you. And until the next time, we'll see you next week on Launchpad Liftoff.
Cheers.